He's Blake, I'm Ronnie, and we're back for a non-live show, Blake, where we're going to talk our favorite movie posters. Top 5.
That's right. Well, no. I need you to rephrase that. This isn't the top 5 movie posters for me. This is just my personal favorite movie posters. Like it's which I realize what I just said doesn't make sense, but the posters I picked aren't necessarily the best posters of all time. They're just super nostalgic for me and have a special.
He's Blake, I'm Ronnie, and we're back with a non-live show talking posters that are nostalgic to us, but not really our top 5.
Perfect.
But they're good.
They're pretty good.
He's Blake, I'm Ronnie, and we're back with a non-live show talking posters that we like because they're nostalgic, not necessarily the best in our opinion, but they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Around the clock, we're gonna rock to the rhythm of the street, up and down the block. Around the clock, we're gonna rock the dreams you give if the states could talk. Wanna be somebody, be a contender. Gotta reach for the sky. If you want it, fight for it, or kiss it goodbye. It's make it or break it. Try to survive. Don't ever say never. Keep your dream alive.
Okay, Blake. It's been a couple of weeks. How long has it been since we did an actual tape show? It's been a while. It has been a while. We've been live stream central here for the last little bit because it's easier to do. No editing, no more fudgicles.
No more fudgicles.
And we just hadn't had time to sit down and do something like this like we have today.
Yeah, I kind of miss this, to be honest with you, Ronnie.
You miss okay, so let's talk about it right now. You prefer these types of episodes to the live streams?
I do.
Why? Just give me a couple of reasons, and I'll tell you why I prefer the same thing. Edit.
Those are 3 examples right there.
All right, I got 2 examples. Edit. So we're on the same page with why we like the tape stuff better.
That's why I missed this. God.
Blake, this was a great idea that you had. You said, hey, man, let's talk our favorite movie posters or movie posters that we like. And, I was all for it. And it's just been a couple of weeks till we've gotten to it. So
this is definitely one of my best ideas. And I definitely, for sure, didn't get it from any other channels.
No, I doubt there's any other channels out there that have ranked movie posters. We're probably the one. I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. We're the first channel to do this. So any other channel has done it, copyright, boom, got them, roasted. One or two things. Either it looks so awesome, I've got to see the movie, or 2, it's so just, like you said, captivating, or it's got such mystery behind it. I'm like, what the heck is this movie going to be about? But you're going to tell from all 5 of the choices I put for this particular video that it's all just boom right there in your face. This is what it's going to be about. So
let's talk about it just for a second, if you don't mind. Like, I didn't grow up for the first part of my life with cable. So the only way I got to see what was coming out in the movies, there was 2 ways. I would go to the video store, and there would be a section of a certain video store that we had that would have current movie posters for what's in the store for you to rent, and then it would have, the upcoming features. Also, if you went to the movies, there would be a long walk down the hallway, and you would see posters for upcoming films. And that was, for a long time, that was the only way I could see what was coming out down the road. So posters were a big deal for me.
Don't go down that road.
Don't go down that road now.
You want to watch out for that road.
Posters were a big deal for me in the early to mid 90s.
I remember, I'm going to say this a lot during this video, but our local mall, Like you just said, the long walk where all the posters are against the wall. I remember as a young kid walking through there and seeing posters of movies that I came to fall in love with. Return of the Living Dead, Friday the 13th Part 6.
A good one.
There's just tons of nostalgia because this was pre-internet, so you couldn't hop on and see what movies were coming out. So when a poster popped up and it said coming soon, Friday the 13th Part 6, you're like, wow, here we go. I mean, it's just it's almost a bygone era because posters were there to let you know exactly what was coming, and now everybody knows everything about everything. So there you go. All right, Blake, lead us off with your first. These are in no particular order. These are just 5 of our favorites. Hit us up with your number 1 or your first one.
My first one. Okay. Let's go Jurassic Park, Ronnie.
What was the point of putting them in order if you're just going to go out of order? Jurassic Park. There it is, Blake.
Well, I mean, you're going from least to most, right?
No, what I'm doing is I asked you which ones you want to talk about first in order so I could have them all situated here on the board, and you just totally went to the middle, but screw it. Let's go.
I mean, I can't think of a movie that was made about dinosaurs before this one. Can you? I'm sure you can.
I'm sure there was some of the old claymation movies, and I think there was a King Kong movie. You got Godzilla, if that's supposed to be a dinosaur. I really don't know the rules.
I mean,
there.
Steven Spielberg coming up with a movie about dinosaurs being brought back to life on a remote island. This poster just, I mean, you got the T-Rex skeleton. It's just, to me, one of the most iconic posters of all time. And this was a big part of my childhood.
What does it say?
An adventure 65 million years in the making.
That's pretty awesome. That's a good poster, Blake. And believe it or not, I would have chose this poster just because of the look of it. When I was trying to describe earlier the look of posters that have me captivated or have me inquisitive, it's posters like this right here. I mean, you really don't know what it's about. It looks kind of scary. At the same time, you see Steven Spielberg. You know he's done movies like Jaws that are horrific, but he's also done a lot of kids stuff and family stuff. And it turns out this was a mixture of both.
Yeah.
I really like Jurassic Park. And that poster is awesome. It's a very good pick, Blake.
Yeah, Jurassic Park is a classic for sure. And then they let the new guy come in and ruin it.
You know what? Those new Jurassic Park movies, I've only seen Jurassic World. I never saw the next 2. Were we supposed to forget about all the sequels in Jurassic World? Did it start a new timeline, or are all the sequels still canon?
All the sequels still there.
All right. Tell me if we're right or wrong about that in the comments when you're watching this video. So I decided to go with this one. And one of those particular times that I was walking down the hallway of the mall by the posters, I saw one that made me think, holy crap, that looks like that's going to be like the craziest movie ever. And it was The Goonies. I mean, check it out right here. I mean, there's a different box art that they use for the VHS copy. There's a different box art they use for the VHS copy, but this is the Goonies poster that I remember them hanging off of. I can't remember what they're called when they hang from the ceiling versus come up from the floor, but all the characters are hanging there. You got the great Goonies title. You got the one-eyed Willie thing that they use down there at the bottom, the key. This is great. And this poster, it exemplifies the movie, which is a great movie that's still great today. Sure, you can find a few things wrong with it, but The Goonies is an almost perfect movie because it stood the test of time, and I can watch it and I love it. I really love The Goonies. It is
pull that back up, Ronnie. Go character names top to bottom. We'll see if you remember.
All right, so top.
It's not Thanos.
Brian. Underneath that, Carrie. Underneath that, Data.
Yes.
Underneath that, the girl with the cigarettes and 12 cigarettes.
No.
Under Sean Astin's in there somewhere. Corey Feldman's in there somewhere. I don't know what Brolin's name is in this movie. Is it Josh? I don't know what it is. I don't know the character names. Mikey's in there. You got Sloth. You got Chunk.
Annie,
You got Annie.
Andy,
Andy.
you goonie.
You Goonie.
Andy! You goonie!
So, yeah, okay. I do love the Goonies movie. No, I don't know the characters' names, and no, I don't give a about them. But I do love the movie, and I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure that the Goonies movie rises up and up in my ranks every time I watch it. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, it holds up for sure. Still
All
not
right.
better than Monster Squad, but
You know what? I used to say Monster Squad was a whole lot better than Goonies, but Goonies is quickly climbing up the ranks towards Monster Squad. The more I watch it, like I can find a lot more problems with Monster Squad than I can Goonies. I know, blasphemy. I know. I'm sorry. All right, Blake, what's your next one?
my next one is what I consider to be the greatest underdog story of all time, and it's not even a sports movie. Now,
There you go.
I didn't get to see this poster when the movie was coming out. I wasn't alive yet, but you had this poster, Ronnie, forever. I've seen this poster my whole life, and I just love everything about it. Like I said, I really do believe it's the greatest underdog story of all time.
You're not going to get an
These
argument with
nerds,
me.
these nerds get bullied all throughout their high school. They're looking so forward to college because college is going to be different. They're men now and they're dealing with women. They're not dealing with immature boys and girls.
Hey, look, edit.
And
Edit. I'm sorry.
they get to college, and the first few months is the same old stuff, man. The jocks are bullying them,
They're there 10
embarrassing them,
minutes. They're there 10 minutes.
ruining their life. And they finally decide they've had enough. And in fact, I mean, just read the poster. They've been laughed at, picked on, and put down, but now it's time for the odd to get even.
It's a
I
great
love that.
tagline. Time for the
It's-
odd to get even.
Yeah, Revenge of the Nerds, their time has come. And Ogre and Stan Gable, and is that Rick at the bottom?
What is no
What's
Bert?
the tight end? Bert, the
Bert.
tight end. Yeah, they're the alpha betas getting stepped on while the cheerleaders love the nerds. I love it. It tells a story and it makes you want to see the movie.
The movie's one of it's a great movie and a great pick. Would have been on my list too if you hadn't sent me your list first.
And I still say, I know you disagree with me. I still say that this should get the Cobra Kai treatment, and there should be a Netflix show called Alpha Betas.
I don't. Stay away from it. My next one, I'm not the biggest fan of these movies. And what I mean by that is I love all three movies. But as you saw before when Blake called me out on the names of the Goonies, even though I love the movie, sometimes I don't know the character names. And Raiders of the Lost Ark is not even my favorite Indiana Jones movie. That would be Last Crusade with him and Sean Connery. But this poster is what movie posters are all about. You've got the great comic book title of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Behind it, you get all the main characters. You got him in a hero's pose, smiling. You got the villains there. You got the scenery. It just opens your mind up. It makes your imagination run wild. What exactly is Indiana Jones going to get himself into with the Nazis in this movie? And this movie's fantastic, Blake. I know you're not a huge Indiana Jones guy, but this poster, it pretty much tells everything of what Indiana Jones is all about, which is adventure and fun and just history.
I've never seen one of them running, not one.
We're really going to have to open that up and review some of those Indiana Jones movies for the podcast. But Indiana Jones, like I said, it's not up the charts. It's one of my favorite movies ever. But this poster is amazing in my eyes. I just think it's amazing. All right, you're up.
Probably not the most popular movie in the world, but I'm going to go with Rick Moranis in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And this is one, Ronnie, that
I love it.
I specifically remember seeing in the video store first, and it's why I rented the movie. This is one of my favorite movies of all time because I think it's just such a great story. I think John Candy was supposed to be that's Ghostbusters. I'm sorry. John Candy was supposed to be the Rick Moranis character in Ghostbusters, and he turned it down. I want to say he was supposed to be this character too. I want to say he was supposed to be Wayne Zelensky, Ronnie, and he gave it to Rick Moranis also. But anyway,
Would this movie have been better with John Candy as?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Dude, there's no way he could have rigged a strap to hold himself up in that backyard if it was John Candy.
There would have definitely been some rewrites on some scenes, but this story is such a cool story. He's a struggling scientist. You know, his wife is frustrated because he's always working, but he's not successful. So it's one thing if you're always tied up in work, but you're also successful and making a lot of money. But this guy's always working and he's not doing anything. He's not getting anything accomplished. So his wife's about to leave him. His kids are, he don't really have anything to do with his kids. The son's starved for attention. The daughter realizes that the parents are probably going to get divorced. And he builds a machine that actually works. And the kids stumble up in the attic and accidentally shrink themselves along with the neighbors. And it's just, and they get taken out with the trash, and they have to make their way from the road back to the house, which is like a 2 or 3 day hike. Go ahead.
And I was going to say, when we review this movie, we can talk about how all Wayne Zelensky would have done is blown his children apart and killed them. If they hadn't hit the baseball up there to block the laser, it would have been Murder City on all those kids. So
another reason, Ronnie, is it's all about timing with this one. We went to Disney World as kids, and you remember the huge Honey, I Shrunk the Kids exhibit where you get to be small, with the ants and the bees and the big blades of grass, and you're walking around and climbing on stuff. So yeah, it's just a lot of nostalgic for me, and I think it's a great looking poster. Thank you.
My next one is, I'm going horror, and it's not I'm going Halloween, but it's not the Halloween you would think. The poster for this movie was one that I always saw in the rental store because this was the only Halloween movie the rental store had. And it's Halloween 2. I always thought Halloween 2's poster was superior to Halloween 1. Now, there's a version of this, and I think it might be on the VHS, where underneath it says the nightmare isn't over. So just the skull coming out of the pumpkin. Anybody that's seen the first Halloween knows you've got the pumpkin at the very beginning in the intro. This one, you have the pumpkin in the intro, and it opens up, and you actually see a skull inside the pumpkin. I love this poster. I want this VHS with this artwork on it. I've got to add that to my collection. I don't have it. I have the alternate Halloween 2, but I love this poster. It's scary. It's creepy. And it makes me want to see more of the original movie.
Yeah, that's a really good poster. And it's a nice little swerve. I figured you'd go, with the original Halloween.
I'm not. Okay, look.
But I agree with you. I agree. I think that poster looks better.
Yeah, this poster is way better in my opinion. This is just my opinion. Everybody's got their own opinions. And in my opinion, this poster is better than Halloween 1. Halloween 1's got an iconic poster, but this poster is better. I really believe that this poster is like frightening. Look at the face on that pumpkin. I mean, that's scary. I mean, imagine if in the Halloween movies, the killer had that head. That's the real pumpkin head. There you go. I just made it's a new timeline. If that ever happened, Pumpkinhead Killer. All right, Blake, you're up. What would the fan base do, Blake? What would the Halloween fan base do if when they start this back over, if they actually do a reboot of the franchise and they start a brand new timeline, if they don't use a white mask? What if they use like something completely different? What if they put a freaking pumpkin on his head? I mean, how crazy would they go? Even if it's a great movie, if they don't use the white mask, are the Halloween fan base, are they so like spoiled at this point? They got to have every single thing they want, or would they live with a new mask?
I think they would react very rationally, especially after, especially after this last installment we got. All right, Ronnie, my number 2, I'm going to go with 1989 Batman. You and I had sheets of Batman on our bed when we were kids.
We did.
The comic book sheets, right?
Yes.
Like it said wham and bam every time he threw a punch. I mean, it was the old school sheets. So you're the reason I'm a huge Batman fan. He's not my number one comic book hero. You'll find that out in a second. But I had not seen a Batman movie. All I had seen up until this point was the 60s television show with Adam West and Burt Ward, which I love, by the way. And I still like watching episodes of that. I know you're not a big fan of that, but I still like watching it. Mickey from the Rocky is the Penguin. I mean, it's great. But when I saw this poster in TriStar, Ronnie,
Yeah.
the excitement of holy crap, I'm getting a Batman. Now, I've asked you a million times in videos and personal, what was it like finding out that Michael Keaton is going to be Batman? And, you've told me that it was a big deal. People were kind of upset about it, that they're getting Michael Keaton to play. But
Mr. Mom.
And it could be just because it was the first one I've seen. And everybody always likes the original. But Michael Keaton will always be my favorite Batman because of this movie, because it was my first experience. I think this is the best looking Batmobile out of every franchise that's been made, or every timeline, whatever you want to call it. It's just so good. It's so good. And I think it came out at the perfect time, 1989, made a ton of money. Tim Burton, did a fantastic job. Jack Nicholson as Joker. The poster, I don't know. It's perfect.
Is it
It's
the
perfect
greatest?
because it doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah.
It's just a symbol. And that's what Batman is, a symbol. So it's just perfect. What were you saying?
I was going to say, is it the greatest VHS box art of all time? Because it was just a black box with it was pretty much your poster right here. That was let me pull it back up. That was the VHS box right there.
Well, and something else, and Ronnie, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a huge comic book guy, but this is the first time like these colors were presented, right? Like
I think so. I think
it was always gray and blue, or black and blue, or just all black, and then we get this big yellow symbol on his chest, and it's my favorite. I love it.
My next one,
and this will be the only reason I go see that Flash movie too, is to see Michael Keaton in that costume and that Batmobile.
which kind of sucks that that the Batgirl movie was so awful that they're never going to air it, because he plays Batman in that movie too. So we missed out on seeing him on the big screen in that movie where he's training the Batgirl up. So maybe
Ronnie, how bad does a movie have to be that you don't even put it out there? Even if it made $1 million, that's $1 million cutting into that what you lost. You see what I'm saying? How bad is that movie that they don't want it to be seen ever?
Yeah, no, you gotta think eventually it'll see the light of day on DVD or something. Eventually, because Brendan Fraser, I think, plays the bad guy in that movie, and he was
wow.
like, yeah, he's the bad guy in that movie. And he talks about how it was like the truest form of Gotham City in any movie, which, any of these actors in these movies are going to say that crap, especially him. He's on the redemption tour right now where he's being super nice to everybody.
Can I ask you a question? I know it probably won't air. How do you get molested as a 30-year-old? Oh, okay. So we're anti him now?
We're off of Brendan Fraser now. First off, he gets fat like me and thinks it's a big deal. I should be winning an Oscar tonight.
I'm the real whale.
Here's your whale right here.
Are the Oscars tonight?
Well, according to Boz, the Oscars are tonight. So there you go. He's done said Data's won the Oscar for Indiana Jones, Part 8, The Dial of Destiny, Dial Soap. My next one, Blake, is one of my favorite movies ever, Back to the Future.
Oh.
I mean, what can you say about this poster? It just screams action and adventure. And you're going to hear me say, you're going to hear me say a lot of the same things with my last two here. Everything about this poster right here is great. What does Back to the Future mean? What are those tire tracks and why are they lit up with fire? What's going on? I mean, a time travel movie, Michael J. Fox right here front and center. It's freaking awesome. This poster is freaking awesome. And
I've never actually read what this poster says, Ronnie. It says he was never in time for his classes. He wasn't in time for his dinner. Then one day he wasn't in his time at all. And that's fantastic.
That's going to go the opposite and say it's horrible. Should have been what was the Huey Lewis line? Ain't got no money.
Power of Love.
Power of Love. Power of Love brings him back from 1955. Great poster, Blake. I love it. It's great. Now, what's your last one?
My last one's going to go to my favorite comic book character, I guess, even though I never read the comics. Is the first movie poster I ever owned, Ronnie, is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know what a huge fan of the cartoon I was. And when I saw this poster of these real looking turtles, which, by the way, the best looking turtles that they've ever come out with, even though this was 1990, the crap they're making now still don't look as good as this. And it says, "Hey, dude, this is no cartoon." Look at that. I mean, it's just fantastic.
It was on our wall.
It was on our wall for years. I was so excited. I mean, the colors of their mask really pop in this. And then it's a perfect green font above. It's just the hype for this. And guess what? Until Blair Witch came along, this was the highest grossing independent movie of all time. Made $100 million. And then,
the Turtles have super strength because they're picking up that manhole cover pretty easy.
Well, it is 4 of them. It is 4. Those manhole covers are heavy, but 4 people, it'd probably be like a 20-pound dumbbell for each of them.
That's a good pick, Blake. I love it. I love it. And I love that movie. And we got to review that movie soon on our channel.
Movie still holds up.
Yeah, it does. My last one, Blake, it's last on my list. The last one we'll talk about today, but it's not last in my heart.
Oh.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Big Trouble in Little China. You've got Jack Burton front and center with his machine gun, Kim Cattrall down there. You've got the Zhang Chings or whatever they're called down there at the bottom fighting. You've got the Pork Chop Express front and center, like Optimus Prime right there in the middle. You've got the 3 storms on here. Once again, this poster screams adventure. It screams fun. And if you're a huge Kurt Russell mark, it's impossible not to love this because this movie's great. This movie was not appreciated in its time. Jack Burton should have got a franchise. John Carpenter should have got a franchise. We should have got 2 or 3 of these movies with this character, this John Wayne doing a 180 where he thinks he's tough, but he always screws everything up instead of saves the day and comes out smelling like a rose. I love Big Trouble in Little China. I love the action. I love the humor. I love everything about this movie. I love the characters. And the poster is iconic and it's brilliant. I really love this poster.
So you said we should have got 2 or 3 of these. With Escape from New York, they came back immediately with Escape from LA. Do you think
they didn't come back immediately? It was 13 years later.
Well, you know what I meant. Do you think they come back with Big Trouble in Little Tokyo with this?
No. I think John Carpenter's done making movies. At one point, they had penciled in The Rock to be the new Jack Burton in a Big Trouble in Little China movie. Hopefully they never make that movie because I'd like for this just to stand the test of time and be the only time this is made.
I'm asking what you thought they would have made a year or 2 later.
I thought they would have come back and it wouldn't have been Tokyo. I think they would have come back and it would have been a different part of the country. Something with mystique behind it. Like this one was in California. Maybe the next one could have been in the Pacific Northwest and we could have had like a Sasquatch type thing going on and more druids and underground societies. It's just him always going into some adventure or some area where there's wizards and warlocks and evil, and he stumbles right in the middle of it and has to save the day somehow. The hero we don't need, but the hero we were given.
It's a good poster.
It's a really good poster. It's a really good poster. And I think, we had 10 really good movies and 10 really good posters, Blake. So I also think this is an idea that we can come back and make another one here pretty soon and talk about 5 more posters we really like. I love this idea. This was a great idea that you had, Blake. This is I love posters. And I think most horror movie and regular movie and just movie fan in general love posters. They love the art. That's the reason so many people collect it. That's the reason so many of these weirdos have posters all over their walls. including myself. It's just a great way to keep the movie magic with you at all times without having to turn it on. I mean, I love movie posters.
I do have an honorable mention. Do you mind if I bring one up?
No, go ahead.
Now, this movie was absolutely terrible, Ronnie.
You don't want to save it for another video?
I don't. But when I saw the poster, I was super pumped about it because I played the game. When I saw that Mortal Kombat symbol as a poster, I was so excited. That's one that you see and you're like, holy crap, how are they going to make that a movie? I can't wait. Let's go.
And I actually like the movie. Hit us in the comments, guys. Hit us in the comments. What are your 5 favorite movie posters? Tell us below. It doesn't have to be your top 5. It can just be 5 movie posters that you love. Tell us what you think of our picks. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the notification bell. I think now, Blake, more than ever.
Tell Ronnie who had the better list.
Who had the better list, Ronnie or Blake? Tell us.
Go ahead.
Blake's list was better.
Go ahead and tell him.
Now more than ever, we need to hit the notification bell because me and Blake are waking up randomly and saying, hey, let's go live and discuss this.
That's right.
Hey, let's check our equipment. So if you guys want to check us out live anytime we go live, then make sure you do that notification crap that they want you to do. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Once again, thank you to everybody that's supporting the channel right now. We're seeing like a massive outpouring of support, and we really appreciate all the new people coming into our channel and commenting and liking our videos. And keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. Blake, anything else before we wrap this up?
No, brother. That's it. Nothing to promote except for that Halloween movie collector. These guys are great.
Check out Halloween Movie Collector page. Check out Nick Pushes Hard channel. Check out the Shape of Horror podcast. Check out the Slaughtered Lamb podcast. Check out Maverick Media. All of these channels are really good friends of ours, and they help support us. So go support them. Good guys, good channels. And that should wrap it up, right, Blake?
That should wrap it up.
This Wednesday, we're live watching Days of Thunder. So join us at 7 o'clock Central Time, where we'll talk about Cole Trickle, Rowdy Burns, Randy Quaid, Nicole Kidman, Chess Rockwell, and the rest of the gang as we try to win Daytona.
See, I didn't want to mention that because in 2 days, that plug won't mean anything.
Should I take it off?
It's up to you. I mean,